All right, it's time for Flip and Friends. I am your host, Kenneth Davis. Follow me at That's Davis. The executive producer of That Davis Show and Flip and Friends is Ryan Bukovetsky. Did I say that right, Bukovetsky? Yeah, Bukovetsky. Follow him at Ryan B. Ski and Ryan B. Ski 1. Always, you can check out his Second City Sports and We Are Regal Radio as a contributor. Sidney Brown, follow him at Sid Kid 80. And last but not least, we have Jason Kessner. Follow him at JF Kessner. What is it, Jason?
At JF Kessner, yeah.
At JF Kessner. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I usually don't rely on the StreamYard ads at the bottom, but that point I did go to look and it was not this. No! All right. We're doing this through Zoom because for some reason I have been robotic and freezing the StreamYard over the last week. Hopefully we can get that fixed. But we're going to jump into something that's near and dear to Ryan's heart, or maybe I should say that it's as far as possible away from Ryan's heart. And that's this is from the Lily. That's Justin Timberlake coming out and giving a bit of apology to Janet Jackson and Britney Spears. Now, if you can go back to 2004 when you had the wardrobe malfunction incident, which still to me, I remember watching that Super Bowl. And I had just gotten a DVR, I think that year, perhaps around that year. And I remember thinking like, whoa, does she have on a nipple ring? Oh, right. And if you can remember the fallout that Justin Timberlake was performing with Janet Jackson, she brought him on. And during the performance, a part of her garment, clueless, was staged, was supposed to be removed. Now, even in looking at this article, I see that Janet says that he pulled off more garment than was supposed to come off. Now, I don't know if she just wanted people to see the imprint of that nipple ring, because it was like the sun. Everybody, it was a symbol of like the sun with like the squiggly lines going out of it, and the circle part was pierced through her nipple. All right. It was a big
right.
nipple.
Did she want a pasty or something there?
Right. It was just, I don't know. I feel like it was supposed to be seen. I still don't understand why Janet Jackson thought that was appropriate for the Super Bowl. Well, I don't know what penny was on that day when she was like,
shock value, baby.
I know, but it was not the Super Bowl and not Janet Jackson, in which Les Moonves, who was at that time running Viacom, went on a destruction spree. She was supposed to have a book come out, I believe, at that time. And at that point, the book was coming out through CBS. He canceled that. Janet Jackson's career hasn't been the same since. And for anybody that doesn't know how huge Janet Jackson was if not she was the second biggest female pop star in the world, you could say, behind Madonna. You know, you can look at it like that, and she's a sister. You know, she was a Jackson, so that you're not regular black.
You think it was Michael's idea to have the garment ripped off?
And then he's gonna rip it off. Listen, Janet, listen. But even delving deeper, and part of this, and it's funny because you see a lot of in these articles about a lot of young people at the time, and how Britney Spears was kind of rolled not into the incident with Janet Jackson, but we can remember when Justin Timberlake went solo, he had Cry Me a River, and someone was in there playing Britney Spears. We all know that was supposed to be Britney Spears and Cry Me a River when he goes into the shower scene or whatever and looks at the girl. She has like the Britney hat with the stupid dress, the asymmetric skirt or whatever back in the days, you know, they used to have on, and how Britney was kind of looked at the person that had destroyed their relationship through cheating, I should say. And if you can think, if I can go back, these were the rumors, all right, that the flip. These were the rumors. I think they said Ben Affleck had talked to JT and told him what the deal was. And definitely, I believe Colin Farrell, if you go back to let you know how long ago this was, when Colin Farrell was popping enough to get Britney Spears allegedly.
And Ben Affleck, Jesus.
Right. And that they went back. First of all, why was they hating on this young lady if this was true? All right. Let the young lady do it. That's their business. All right. You over here kissing and telling. Listen, JT, I think you're going to be big one day, but I'm going to tell you something. Leave her alone. Like, who the fuck is Ben Affleck and Colin Farrell? But anyway.
God, that just kind of pissed me off hearing that. Like, how is JT more relevant than those two? There is a problem here, folks.
Well, I'm just saying, can they say...
Ben's got his own problems. Let's just say that.
Yeah, too. And listen, first, what has Colin Farrell done in the last 10 years?
I was also going to say, Colin Farrell, I don't think really cares that much at this point.
No, but he's an actual good actor, and my argument is JT is not good at anything. He's just good enough at everything, so he gets this pass.
Well, welcome to the world that some of us have been living in for a long time, right?
Well, it's an injustice. That's why we bring it up on the flip.
So Ryan, this is in your wheelhouse because you are our super hate miser when it comes to Justin Timberlake. Your Justin disdain surprised us. It amuses us. So where are you at? Where it amuses the hell out of us. Where are you at?
Yeah, I don't even know how it even happened.
Yeah, like one day you just rolled over. He was like, Justin.
No, it's been a long time that I've never really liked Justin Timberlake.
Did you dislike him while he was a member of NSYNC?
No, that's the only time I liked him actually.
When he had the little stupid curl, you was feeling him?
Right.
Okay.
Because he was in his ballpark. He was in his like range. And he was killing it. Like it's like the right fish for the right size pond. And then this jackass thought he could just do it by himself and decided to go into the ocean. And somehow everybody's just buying into it. And I don't get it. He's just not that funny. Every time I see him, like, okay, yeah, like he can be funny. He can be funny.
Bringing on down the field. No, his SNLs. He's had at least 3 classic SNL skits. Dick in a Box. All right. Mm-hmm. The Bee Gees one, all right.
I'll give you the Bee Gees one.
The Bee Gees one, all right. And whenever he does the rapping thing,
all right, that's fine. Other people have had classic SNLs. Like he's funny enough. Fine, whatever. And then, like, is he that good of a dancer? We always come back to this. Yeah, right. Whatever. So we don't even need to talk about that.
He's better than what's the kid's Justin Bieber? He's better than Justin Bieber.
Sure, whatever. Who cares about that?
It's not saying much.
Right.
That was the point.
Do you especially go see Justin Timberlake movies? Like, I don't get this acting thing that he's...
I have never seen the Justin Timberlake movie that I know of so far. Never.
Neither have I.
You didn't see Bad Teacher?
Oh.
Maybe I'll see. What's the female lead in Bad Teacher?
Cameron Diaz,
yeah.
Maybe I've seen Bad Teacher. Maybe. All right, perhaps. But that lets you know, like, how it doesn't resonate.
Okay. Do you remember too when this like cheating thing happened? How everybody was just like, "Oh, poor Justin. Oh, he got cheated on." Mm-hmm. It like threw his ass into stardom in the first place.
And the sick part too was how these it goes back to how weird that time was with like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Mandy Moore, Jessica Simpson, and how virginity was supposed to be something special, but you wasn't asking Justin, was he banging them or not? You know what I'm saying? How they were supposed to be these clean, pristine girls, but, you know, put on this skirt and do the dirty dance, Christina, because we got to sell these units. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's just a mixed bag. And it's always something. Like, it makes me go back to, I hate to say this, I really, really do. Remember when, what's her name from Freaky Fridays? The last one, Freaky
Lindsay
Friday.
Lohan?
Okay, remember when, speaking of SNL, remember when Lindsay Lohan had hosted SNL and it was like a month before her 18th birthday and it was like countdown to when she turns 18, right? I mean, just, you know, just how, you know, it's like old society rules as far as like when old ass morbid men used to come and pick at them, a little teenage girl, and then even at that time we were kind of still doing that, sexualizing these young ladies in a way that they were too young to really be sexualized. I mean, it also goes back to, man, she was hot for a quick second. Who knew she was going to deteriorate the way she deteriorated? If you could buy stock in Lindsay Lohan, think about how bad that Lindsay Lohan stock would have went if you had it right there.
I had to check who we were talking about a second. I was like, who's he saying degenerated so quickly?
If you could have gotten Lindsay Lohan stock 12, 13 years ago, you would have been like, I gotta make some good stock right here. Right? Okay, I'm sorry. Let me leave that alone.
She was a safe bet. And then what the last thing I think she was doing was like running a weird resort in like Athens or something.
I think I saw something like that.
It was very strange. It's very strange. I don't know what the business venture is here exactly. Who's trying to screw who, but it doesn't seem like anybody's really making that work.
That's what happens when you do a whole lot of drugs and a whole lot of drinking and you hit the wall too. That's a bad combination. Just
yeah.
It's kind of funny you bring up.
Did she fall into the Tara Reid thing as well?
Listen, that's what popped in my head. Listen, when you just said The last thing I saw her do, I was gonna say Sharknado, and I was like, no, that's Tara Reid. I went straight to Tara Reid. But listen, the thing though, Tara Reid's stock was not what Lindsay Lohan's stock.
No, it wasn't.
It was never as high. Lindsay Lohan's stock was high. All right, she had some stock at that point. But yeah,
Tara Reid needed that Lloyd's of London thing though, because she got screwed.
It's kind of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
Bad surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Wait, what? The surgery, was it on her face or what? This is a bad.
It might have been in multiple places. Although that also is like, got to do your research better. Right. I'm not trying to put that on her though.
Okay,
again,
yeah, we don't want to just don't.
She's an actress. That should be insured.
But anyway,
Can't get it back, though.
My like, it's funny this relates to JT because we're kind of looking back with JT, right? Like looking back at the incidents with Brittany and Janet Jackson, and this fucking ass clown finally apologized for it. That's the other thing too.
Yeah, we really haven't addressed that part.
This idiot like has been living on this double standard for so long. Like, oh, I'm helpless Justin Timberlake. I got cheated on. I didn't do anything with Janet. My hands are clean. Like I just did the dance. And now, like, cultural appropriation 15 years later, and now I'm suddenly upset and I'm going to apologize. But with, like, Lohan, and we're doing this, like, review, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a Letterman interview with Lindsay Lohan, and he's basically making fun of her for going to rehab. And he is under fire for it.
Is this on his Netflix show, you mean?
No, this was back in the day, like, when she was first going into rehab.
Oh.
And like, the stock was crashing, as Ken would say.
Wow,
interesting.
And Letterman has come under fire for it, and it's like we're kind of doing these reviews and like seeing it and be like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. Like everyone just laughing, like, oh, how many times have you been to rehab? I hope this time it works. Like stuff like that. It's just like, damn, Dave, relax.
Also, quick callback. Did you say it was the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake Super Bowl was 2004?
Yes, I did. Yes.
I guess I should know because I started getting grays in my beard, but good God.
Yes, that was
that one hurts.
That was 17 years ago. Wait, 17 years ago? Yeah, 17 years ago.
I'm sorry if I ever contributed to the problem.
And then the thing on top of that is the fact, was that 2 years ago that he did the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yes. Well, it was the Brady, the Eagles one.
You could just say that
was in Minneapolis.
It's always a Brady one. You just Brady's gonna be there, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, that didn't help me place it at all. That it was 2 years ago.
Which Eagles won?
Also, that Super Bowl performance feels longer ago.
It does.
Not longer ago than the Janet Jackson Justin Timberlake one. Obviously, that doesn't feel like it should be 17 years. But that 2 years ago one in Minneapolis feels like it should be at least 5 years ago.
And that one,
am I crazy?
No, it totally does, Jason. It feels like
why it feels longer is because it's one of the all-time worst Super Bowl halftime performances. He owns that record. We don't talk about that one either.
Where do you rank the weekends from this past week?
I wasn't like super into it, but I thought it was fine. Like it was much better than that Justin Timberlake's one, if that's what the standard is.
I will say this: you're watching that. My roommate looked at me at one point and he goes, "Why aren't they using any part of the field?" And I go, "I mean, that's a lot of people to move that staging around like we usually do." And he's like, "Oh yeah, right." But I will defend the weekend one for the GIF and meme factor alone. That whole thing where he's like all spazzing out in that hallway. Yeah, in the hallway. That's good shit.
They had like I seen a good Joker one. I've seen a few saying like Ryan Pace looking for a QB.
That one's the one that got me.
I saw a couple of good ones. But all right, listen, one of the things we're just talking about JT, talking about Lindsay Lohan, talking about child actors. This is from Yahoo Entertainment. It's fair to say that Jaleel White is literal child of Hollywood. Born in Culver City, California in 1976. White got into acting trade at the age of 3 and grew up in front of the camera, appearing in commercials, TV shows, and feature films in a career that spanned 4 decades and counting. At the height of his fame in the 1990s, he was one of the biggest stars on the network television, thanks to his breakout performance as Steve Urkel on the hit ABC sitcom Family Matters. Despite his importance to that show, the network, and the industry at large, White says that he was always aware that Hollywood treated him differently than other successful and white child actors like Wonder Year star Fred Savage or Blossom's Meyer and Bailiff. He's like, Savage! You know, it's on, yeah.
Did you notice? I don't know if you know, since you love It's Always Sunny, he's like a major director in that show.
Really?
Yeah, he directs like a ton of episodes.
No, that makes it. Put some respect on his name. I'm gonna say something about him real quick after I finish this. You were made to feel African American, white tails, the entertainment now. Fred Savage was always invited to the Emmys. He was always treated like a darling during this time. I was never invited to the Emmys, even to present. I was pretty much told that I would be wasting my time to even submit myself for nomination. This is crazy. I remember.
Can't even present.
And look, I remember Fred Savage being at the Emmys back in those days. I used to love the Wonder Years. All right, I almost sung the theme song on the jam, but that morning my voice was so hoarse that would have been a gift right on your ass if I would have tried. Right? I mean, it was just like you should have done. I was like, no, I could. Like I was too early. It takes a minute for my vocal cords to warm up. You know what I'm saying? So like in the morning, my voice is raspy as you know what.
Was it, Sydney, correct me, who's the name? Was it Carl Lewis singing the national anthem?
Yes. It was Carl Lewis.
He was a national joke afterwards.
But I remember as a kid that in Saturday mornings, they used to have these like celebrity basketball games, and Magic Johnson would be there, and Jaleel White was always on the court, right? They'd be like, you see Magic doing the magic tricks or whatever. But it's just funny. I've always loved some Fred Savage. Oh, wait. When you're saying directing, you mean Fred Savage directs the Always Sunny. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I thought you meant Jaleel White. Yeah, I know.
That's
Fred
what
Savage.
I thought too, and I was like, I've never noticed.
I was like, I know Jaleel White was out there directing Always Sunny. Yeah, I've probably seen Fred Savage. I know Fred Savage has done a lot of directing, to say the least. Listen, I think it's messed up, especially because one thing I didn't put together. We're talking about now. Meyer Bialik Blossom was on NBC. All right, so I'm gonna take that kind of away. I'm not even about to talk about 6. Whoa! I'm about to talk about 6. All right.
I was waiting for the name. I was like, what was that odd name? On that show?
Yeah, Joey Lawrence too.
It was 6. That was the name. It was. I know Sydney knows.
Oh yes. She looked even better on the Parkers years later, but that's a whole nother show.
I didn't like 6 on the Parkers.
Really?
Well, see, I didn't like I wasn't a big Parkers fan,
right?
But I didn't know because it wasn't the same. The novelty factor had worn off at that time to me to a certain. You know what? I wanted to rescue 6 from the Parkers. To be honest, with you. I don't know, sister. You need to be around here. Come on.
I love how you thought you could just slide a Blossom in there without a 6 conversation coming.
I tried to, but we see that you're always going to go to 6 now. But listen, the reason I'm bringing that up is 6 being on, Blossom being on NBC. The lead into that show was The Fresh Prince. So that's why, for instance, a lot of us brothers know Blossom and watch Blossom because it came on because we kept watching after
6 at 6.
Also, we feel like sometimes we want to watch Monday Night Football depending on who the game was. And as a kid, a lot of time Monday Night Football was boring. I don't care if you like football or not. I love football.
That's 6.
Getting back to ABC though, in the Wonder Years and the submissions, you look. There was a lot of years where because I watched the Wonder Years, I still watched it, but it wasn't like the ratings beast that it was in its initial 2-3 seasons, right? Mm-hmm. But while Family Matters, you got to look at where Family Matters was before Steve Urkel got on there. It was straight. You could almost say, well, definitely Full House and Family Matters created TGIF, basically. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But looking at how important Jaleel White was for TGIF, he was somebody who was supposed to appear on the show like once or twice, and then they had to basically he became the star of the effing show. All right, like that. He was huge. And the fact that you have a guy that, he's the star of the Wonder Years, you know what I'm saying? But even him being the star of the Wonder Years wasn't where culturally what Urkel was. Urkel was huge at the time. And the fact that he was bringing in so much money for ABC and they didn't submit him it's a travesty to say the least.
Also, refresh my memory. Go ahead, Sid.
Okay, I just want to bring in this aspect that no one's talking about to piggyback off your point, Kid. Ken, even though this Family Matters was a family TV sitcom, Urkel played the opposite of a stereotypical black teenage character. Mm-hmm. He was basically a nerd that made everybody laugh, and people laughed at him. He wasn't your thugged out pants dragging, smoking weed, drinking cursing everybody out. He was the opposite of that and became very popular.
When were they doing that in the early 90s?
Yeah, that's pretty true.
You could have said that was... We weren't. I don't even think
Sid was watching The Wire and then going to family.
Sid was watching the future. Like, what?
We already mentioned Fresh Prince. You could have just said he was the anti. Like,
I gotta watch Oz before.
What I mean, Will Smith wasn't smoking
cool.
weed.
No, but he could have gone that route, not the other way. Like, what the hell, Sid?
I don't agree with everything either one of y'all just said. As far as the Fresh Prince being the Fresh Prince was, I know you're saying he was cool, wholesome, but they both were wholesome.
They were both wholesome. Yeah.
They were both wholesome. You know what I'm saying?
Refresh my memory though about this. How many seasons before the Urkel character gets introduced?
Maybe one.
Two?
I would say.
1 or 2?
It could be 2. It could be 2, but I would say I would cap it at 2 because remember.
But
now,
it did come quickly though.
If we're going to dig deeper into this now, the show's a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. The mother used to work in used to control the elevator. Did they work in the Tribune building? Was it the Tribune? I can't remember what building they worked in, but they worked in the mailroom, I believe. But the mother used to operate, for anybody that didn't know, used to have people that operated the elevator when you got on it back in the days, all right? And you tell them what floor you wanted to go to. Their mother did that, and then they gave her a spinoff, both shows being in Chicago, to where her and her husband, who was a cop, and their family, his mother, her sister, I believe it was her sister, that was on there.
Yeah, it was her sister.
And then, during that, they brought in Urkel, and he just took off. They had to make it the Steve Urkel show. They had to make the Steve Urkel show so much, they sent one of their daughters upstairs and she never came back downstairs.
And she got into porn afterwards.
She did. That's how bad it got. Urkel drove me into sucking dicks.
She's like, take this Cosby show, I'll do you one better.
What was her
Not
name?
NC-17, triple X.
Was it Judy? What was the girl's name? Sid? Was it Judy?
I think so. Don't quote me about it. They believe her name on the show was
Judy went upstairs one day, and all of a sudden they only had 2 kids, and they had the little nephew or whatever. He was going to take over her responsibilities as being the child actor on that show.
Perfect example for this, though, the difference between, because I will say this, they didn't set up child stars for success after anyway, right? Like, they did get other chances. Perfect example to illustrate the double standard, since this is the episode of double standards, between Fred Savage and Jaleel White, is up until very recently, Fred Savage has been the voice of Honda. Jaleel White has been the voice of nothing. Like, there's career opportunities just because he's Fred goddamn Savage.
Hey.
And Urkel was bigger, like you said.
And listen, it's so many career opportunities. He got he basically, because of his name, his little brother got a show.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too, because Boy Meets World was as important to my life as was Wonder Years.
I enjoy both shows, and I raised 6 over with a Topanga.
I got a question.
Damn, I've never seen him do that before. I've never seen him. Sid's camera's about to go off. That's it. This show's a wrap. I don't know, Ryan, how you going to dig that out of this show, but you got to dig that out of this show right there. That's it right there. Woo. Hey,
my Lord.
Banger boy. Boy. All right. Transitioning into something more serious. This is a rough switch. It's out of Yahoo Life. With Black History Month underway, some educators are challenging the way that Black history is currently handled in the public education system. Erica Buddington, founder and chief executive of Office of a Curriculum Consultant for the firm Langston League, for example, believes their approach is contrary to how Carter G. Wilson, the father of Black History Month, intended it. While Black history is an American history, it is still being taught in a very supplemental way. It is disgusting for Black history to be dwindled down to clubs, posters, quotes, and random misrepresentations. But this is where most of our schools are today. Woodson, a Black writer and historian, wanted Black history to be taught through a nuanced and historically accurate narratives to allow our children to fully understand the diaspora, but it's in the former middle school educator explained. According to Jesse Hagelpian, a teacher of ethnic studies at the Seattle Garfield High School and organizer for the Zen Education Project, most of it is reduced to enslavement of Black people. Students learn Black people were oppressed, but they rarely learn about the immense contributions Black people have made to the science, mathematics, technology, and advancements of American democracy through Black collective struggles. Oh, I agree. I mean, I think you see that a lot of times when you see Black people say they're tired of seeing slave movies. You never see movies about Black people. I mean, we did see, what was the Hidden Figures? We saw that, you know what I'm saying? But rarely do we see the contributions, and that's for the times where the contributions are at least admittedly come from a Black person. From the times we see before, a Black person did it, but someone else basically stole it and said that they did it. But yeah, we definitely don't have a nuanced view of Black history. I do feel like perhaps with what took place last summer with Juneteenth, getting a lot more coming to life for a lot of people that didn't perhaps know, that we perhaps are entering an era where we can change Black history. But I could be wrong, but particularly right now, because we're not in school, I wonder if we weren't going through the pandemic, would there have been some substantive changes to Black history? I'm sure some teachers would take it more serious, even though we see, I don't know what state it was. I don't know if it was Wisconsin or something the other day. I see some parents, they can opt out of Black history. I saw something on, I forgot what it was. I didn't click it because it was just so foolish or whatever. But yeah, I agree. Black history, a lot of times comes down to Martin Luther King, I Had a Dream, and slaves being freed by Lincoln.
You know what, Ken, and I want to echo your point, and I'm kind of with you on this. There needs to be balance in everything. Going to entertainment first, you know, everybody talk about slave movies, this and that and the third. Okay, yes, our ancestors were slaves, but like you said, we made contributions not just in the entertainment and political field, but other fields as well. You know, inventing things and creating things that we still use today in our society. And on the flip side, as far as schools are concerned, opting out of Black history, are you kidding me? We learned about all other cultures' history in which we should, but Black history is American history. This should be mandatory too. Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way.
No, you're not.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not. I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, our history is still being stumped on by people who don't want to know or don't understand. That it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Great point.
This kind of comes off of this. I saw this 2 days ago, I think. Too controversial to teach about Malcolm X. And it just so happened that one of the students in the class had a PhD history professor for a parent. And she's like, this teacher's going to hear about this. Because again, the parents were trying to opt out of it. And they're like, no, there should be a way to talk about this. I don't know. Right. What do you guys think about that? Because again, that's a little bit more than the MLK Birmingham jail kind of
this is a problem.
Black history.
I remember growing up hearing Mike North on the score. Right now you have a movie out called Judas and the Messiah about Fred Hampton, basically his assassination by the Chicago police officer, by the Chicago Police Department, of course, the CIA, and was involved in it. All right. And I remember hearing when Fred Hampton got like a street named after him, and Mike North was on the score talking about his cop killer. He has a street named after him. And I always find it funny that revolution is revolution through your eyes. You know, it's not revolution through the fact that people have to revolt because they're put in a situation. When people came here, came to America and decided they didn't want to pay the king his taxes any damn more, they were getting too high. They wanted representation. They desired to revolt because they thought it was unfair. It was unfair to them not to be duly represented. And you look at through the same vein with Malcolm X. I mean, why is it that with a Black person, it's always, oh, he's evil, when that person is fighting to get his people their just due, you know? But anybody else, when we go put on Braveheart, that shit is admirable, right? Braveheart was out there killing motherfuckers, right? Chopping them up.
That's your problem. You got to get Mel Gibson.
Or let's make it even more contemporary example. Remember Eamon Bundy? People celebrate him. I would say he's far more controversial and less substantial in terms of his philosophical backing than Malcolm X is.
Ooh, no, who's Eamon Bundy? Real quick,
he's the militiaman, the rancher.
The one that was out there and that wanted to be able to still use the government's land or something.
And he just popped back up in the news this week too. Of course he did, because it's 2021 and we have crazy people.
All right.
But yeah.
So continuing with. Did you have something? What were you about to say, Jason?
I was just going to say, and it's, again, not to hijack the Black History Month thing, but again, you talking about double standards. It's like it's the frame and lens with which you put it through. Like what really is oppression and what really is privilege. There's still a lot of people that have a hard time even listening to those words.
Facts.
I just don't even get the let's choose what history, like.
Yeah,
it's the story of us. You need to listen to all of it.
Well, speaking of privilege, this is from the Chicago Tribune. Jacksonville's Jaguars and embattled strength coach Chris Doyle parted ways Friday night, a few hours after the respected diversity group blasted the team and called the recent hiring simply inaccessible. Coach Urban Meyer and general manager Trent Bouck said Doyle resigned and they accepted it. Chris did not want to be a distraction and to what we're doing in this building. Meyer and Bouck said in a statement, we are responsible for all aspects of our program, and in retrospect, we should have given greater consideration to how this appointment may have affected all involved. We wish him the best as he moves forward.
Put it in the washing machine and spin it, baby.
Yeah.
Spin.
Listen, Urban Meyer, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. All right? Like, fuck you for real. You decided in this grown man fraternity that you was going to bring in this racist strength coach. Enough allegations have been said, regardless of you knowing him for 20 years, that why would you stick your neck out? And you just got in trouble for sticking your neck out for somebody abusing his wife at Ohio State. And then in Florida, you had murderers running around rampant down the school. But you're going to sit here and say, just because you know him, fuck these players here, majority of them being black. All right, this is what I need to do because I trust. No, I get this point. I'm trying to win. I trust he can get this done. There's too many strength and conditioning coaches for you to motherfucking set president of putting this racist fuck and have to work closely with those black players. Knowing how many of these players know somebody that probably went to Missouri, all right, their cousins or somebody else, their cousins' friends or somebody that knows what those players went through. And you had the nerve with your motherfucking first ass head coaching in the NFL to try to pull this bullshit off? Man, get the fuck out of my face. That's just my feelings about it in general.
Well, it's like that's what privilege is right there. Like Urban Meyer, I like there's no way you couldn't know that this would happen. I even sent this in the group chat when it was posted. Like there are so many people you can get for that job. That is not a job where you have to get the best of the best and there's only a few and Chris Doyle happens to be one of those guys. That's not a thing. Like you could get anybody. And to just think like while you're putting together the staff, there has to be a little bit of, hey, is this guy going to fit? Am I going to get any blowback for this or for that? Like there's always a checker on something like that. And for them to just miss that and him to just hire him, probably he didn't even have a checker. He just like, I want my guy. And that's the problem. Like complete unawareness of what you're doing. Like it's just a horrible representation. And now you're going to put like this, oh, we didn't know. Oh, he's resigning. He doesn't want to be a distraction. It's like, no, we messed up big time. And it's because you're an idiot.
Yeah, you clearly didn't vet that because the first thing that comes up on that guy is the allegations. Mm-hmm. So that's literally just you being obstinate when you're already a guy who's had too many chances when it's Urban Meyer. I will say this. I did read up. There is one possible silver lining for the Jags being Jags about this. Iowa, and again, state universities, so it's state taxpayers' money. When they settled out this guy, he was the highest paid strength coach in NCAA, $800,000 a year. They owed him 15 months pay, over $1.1 million until he found another job. Fingers crossed this counts, boys.
Maybe that was Urban's plan the whole time. I just want to screw this guy out of money.
Now, if they're really trying to spin it, that's what he would have come out and said.
Right.
That they got caught with their pants down, guys.
Creative. Oh, Herb's on our side. Okay. Okay.
It's the butterfly meme, everybody. Is this social justice warrior?
Go ahead, Sid.
I'm not saying that people don't deserve a second chance, but Jason brought up my next point. Doyle didn't even get punished for what he did at Iowa. He took a $1.5 million settlement because he, quote unquote, resigned. He's now removed from it far enough to get a high position in a college game or in the program. Jacksonville tried to sneak this in like people were going to forget about it. This happened over the summer, especially in the climate that we're in right now. People are not going to forget. It's something called the internet, folks. People dig up dirt on folks all the time. If the Jaguars didn't think that people weren't going to find out, they're sadly mistaken. And I'm glad they got caught with their pants down.
Moving on, keeping with racism and hate, it's one of those shows that we're having today. Which is
Happy
funny.
month, Ken.
Happy month, right? They wait till Black History Month goes, boy. They're gonna let this loose. All right, this is from ABC7. During the first Bachelor season, over the feature a black man as his lead frontrunner. Wait, during the first Bachelor season, ever to feature a black man as his lead, frontrunner Rachel Kirkconnell is apologizing for her racist actions and holding herself accountable. Kirkconnell posted an apology on Instagram Thursday night after recently uncovered racially insensitive social media posts surfaced, which include her attending what they deem a plantation-themed fraternity party, which I will say antebellum fraternity party, and liking the Confederate flag in TikTok posts. She said, at one point, I didn't recognize how offensive and racist my actions were, but that doesn't excuse them. And I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist. Whoever wrote this for her did a phenomenal job. The former Bachelorette, Rachel Lindsay, is responding saying, an apology is just a little step in the right direction. All right, Kirkconnell first found herself in hot water after TikTok went viral, claiming to show her liking posts with the Confederate flag and even sharing now this is funny because I want to ask you this, Jason, because you said it this way, QAnon, but last week or the week before you said QAnon. So you're a QAnon person or are you a QAnon person?
I don't know. I think it might migrate. I don't give it enough respect to pronounce it correctly, apparently.
We'll call it QAnon then, out of disrespect. QAnon conspiracy theories. So, all right, this is, and I originally talking this, I'm like, all right, clearly, this happened like 6 years ago or whatever. And it's funny because how my whatever's going on with my camera, I'm ahead of what I'm saying. So it's funny looking at my mouth talk because it's not syncing up with.
I'm in the future.
Exactly.
Who's going to win the lottery? Give me the numbers, quick.
Don't give the book to Biff. But so look, I'm thinking
we just lost our millennials.
You better know Back to the Future regardless. You better always know Back to the Future. All right. I'm thinking this shit took place maybe 6 years ago. And Ryan said, she's 24. She just got out of college. Listen, 2018 is close as fuck to be throwing racist ass fraternity themed parties. All right. What college? Do we know what college this took place at? I gotta know the college where this took place at one point because I got a feeling. Well, it doesn't matter. Could have happened anywhere around America. I can't even put it on the South.
Sewanee, College of the South. That's a strong candidate. Not to defame them, but it's in the name, guys. Gotta own that.
We gotta figure out the fraternity more than the school.
Oh well. So and it's funny when we first doing this, and I'm like, all she did was went to a plantation. And because I'm like, I don't think that's racist going to a plantation. Because I mean
there is a social justice commentary about people throwing weddings at
exactly. I was going to say,
is that okay? But that's different than what's happening here.
Well, what is it okay? Like if she just went there and had a party, and it wasn't like antebellum theme, but they just like partied at a plantation, that's fine.
I mean, if the plantation is still holding those type of, it's still a banquet hall. I mean, I could get what you're saying. Well, you should abandon the plantation, but if it's a banquet hall, it's whatever. Now, the story I was going to bring up is when you first said it, I'm like, she just went to a plantation, or they had a party at a plantation. Let me say this: I remember first time I went to go visit Afton in Spelman, that we were at Stone Mountain, all right, where the Klan had put a cross, flamed it up, put a burning cross on Stone Mountain at one point. We went to Stone Mountain, and I remember before I get to this part, we were coming down after we left, and it was this guy, and it was like this little brush, and he was standing in the middle, it was brush on the side, and he had on like a rain slicker, and it seemed like it was a pond behind him, and he looked just like the guy from I Knew What You Did Last Summer. And we was like, oh shit. Anyway, so we were in the car though. We were in the car. So anyway, we went to this plantation, but the plantation was like supposed to be like an educational experience, right? This is what we thought. All right. So we get there. I got on like a hoodie. Mind you, at the point in my life, I wore baseball caps from other teams. I had Milwaukee Brewers cap. I had that was ill. I had a Toronto Blue Jays cap. But at this point, I had this gray Yankees cap, right? All gray.
God,
and
you're in the South, this Yankee from the North.
But it goes both ways there, though, because it's the coloration for the other side, but it's the Yankees mascot.
So we get there, and the head lady at a house or whatever, you know, she's this white lady dressed up in this antebellum style outfit, and she's telling us about the good way, right? And I mean, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And she looks in my cap, she says something as far as like, you know, those Yankees, right? And I'm like, what the fuck, right? Like, what the hell did you bring me to, right? I thought this was going to be like an educational experience.
Yeah, here's some education.
We didn't know.
It's like, get out.
Right. It's closer actually to the last movie. What was the movie I was talking about? Antebellum. This is Antebellum.
Yeah.
This is Antebellum. Speaking of Antebellum, and this is Antebellum, right? So the lady sitting there, we're standing outside of the house. She's like, oh, yeah, something, the good way, the Southern way. So I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, right? Like, I didn't know we was going to reenactments, and they really felt this shit, right? So we walking through the place. Right. So we're walking through the different houses, you know, like at the different quarters or whatever. And we enter this house, and like they would have like a railing, so, you know, you didn't jump into the exhibit or whatever like that. So we enter this house, and it's a sister with braids poking outside of her head. And I believe on the other side, it was a brother. And she like, now mind you, we already like, what the fuck is this, right? So, you know, you enter this funny when we're talking about Get Out of Antebellum. You into this room, you think we gonna like have, you know how black people are, we gonna have a meeting of the minds. Like, you know what the fuck is going on here? So we into this room, and the sister's like, oh my God. It's so good to see some of us here finally, right? And we like, okay. And but she still was like, kind of like everything was okay. We was just like, this shit is mad creepy. We gotta get the fuck up out of it. That's why we hastened this motherfucker, got the fuck up out of this. Right? She wasn't like, this shit is fucked up. She was like, it's good. It's nice that our people are here. And it was like, what the fuck is you doing here?
Blake, I need help.
Right. So that was again, that went to when Ryan, you said the story, we were just discussing it before we came back in. How initially I'm like, she just went to a plantation, because I guess I should be in trouble for going to a place. I should be in more trouble for what took place at the plantation.
I don't know. Yours seemed like good old white educational glorification plantation.
Which I didn't know. Go ahead.
Ken. Just throw it back to what we were talking about before. You know, for the families that opt out of Black History Month, they have to go to that plantation.
Good call, Jason.
And that's how we get to where we are today.
Were you just having like flashbacks of that while watching Get Out? Like,
and look, the plantation actually. Let me say this too. The plantation was moved to this place, just to be specific. It wasn't
underground where
the plantation was rebuilt where it was at when we went to go to visit it. It wasn't that it initially was there right off of Stone Mountain or whatever, but it was wild as shit. But getting back to her, Sydney, how do you feel knowing that one day?
One quick thing. So that was a plantation that transitioned to like a clan sanctuary.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yes. I know they had a couple meetings there.
The MAGA ghosts that live on that
mountain. No witnesses.
Look at these blacks coming on our plantation. Take them
out. The hair dye sweat that must be there.
They're just running down. But Sydney Brown, how do you feel knowing that you one day will be on The Bachelor? And that you have contestants. Sydney Brown, how are you going to handle when you're the Bachelor?
When you have a racist white woman.
Yeah, if you have a racist white woman as a contestant, how would you handle this? How are you going to handle this in the future?
I'd love to take you to an antebellum party, baby.
Get you the right scent. I know you like
right there, and she won't come back.
All right.
Sydney's like, I got 10 hours. I'll go.
Even if she looked like Topanga, Sid?
What about 6 and Topanga combined?
No, you don't combine Topanga with nothing. You let Topanga,
Oh
Go ahead,
my
Sam.
Yeah,
God.
we all said and did some stupid stuff, okay, but this is on a whole nother level. And I'm not saying that people cannot change, but if that stuff is still resonates in your system, in your DNA, no, thank you. You out the door.
Did she not know that the Bachelor contestant was going to be black or something? Like, did she sign up? Was like, damn it!
Got me. You got me.
Son of a bitch! The one time? Come on.
I wonder. Honest question: did anybody drop out?
That's a good one, Jason. That's a real.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
if you're
age,
thirsty to get on The Bachelor, I don't think you're turning it down.
Also, people are gonna find that out in 2021. Like,
Right.
that
she said that was
person
too
dropped
much.
down The
What
Bachelor.
do you mean? My dress is fabulous in that picture.
Right after I got kicked off The Mandalorian, I got kicked off The Bachelor too.
They're controlling us.
All right. Last one. This is out of the Tribune last week. Federal officers seized nearly $100,000 worth of erectile dysfunctional pills Thursday morning from a man who flew into Chicago O'Hare Airport from India, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials said Friday. The man was on his way to Savannah, Georgia, from a trip to India when officers at O'Hare found 8 black and white boxes of pills in his luggage, said Stephen Bainbach, a spokesperson for the agency's Chicago field office. Inside were 3,200 red tablets of Viagra and erectile dysfunction medication with active ingredients similar to Vigor. I'm sorry, Vigor. When I see VIG, I mean VIA. I actually went there, but
I want to see that
Vigor.
commercial.
So he had gas station quality Viagra. He's about to go kill some motherfuckers. He's about to blow some hearts out.
I was gonna say I've been to Savannah, Georgia. Not where I'm taking 100,000.
That's in Viagra pills. All right, I plan on retiring. I plan on retiring in my life in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, that's a great place to retire. That's a great place to bring a lot of bonus.
You don't, babe. You don't.
Hey, he just said he's retiring there, so you do the math. He's not the only one thinking that thought.
All right, so the active ingredient similar to Viagra worth an estimated $96,000, really $97,000 if I round up, according to the news release. The man declared that he had some merchandise when he arrived at customs. Sometimes travelers must pay duties and what they bring across international borders. So he's sent to a secondary inspection. The officer checked his bags and found a box of pills. When officers asked why he had the pills, the man stated they were for his friends and claimed that they are over-the-counter medications in India. Again, I told you he got them gas station pills. Customs and Border Protections will not pursue any fines or charges. I think any man carrying that much explosive hard pills needs to get some type of.
They really just think he was just like, oh, I just
right. I'm just taking the counter. Listen,
it's legal in India.
Right.
Listen, two things. One, you selling these bitches illegally, right? And you bringing these shits from India, which you don't even have an FDA approved. We don't know what the fuck is in these shits, right?
Man, how big is this luggage with $100,000 worth?
Right. And where are these little girls that y'all holding? Because I don't know who these 3,200 fucking Viagra pills. We need to go investigate. What orgy is taking place? Like, you need to, right then, the feds need to follow this motherfucker for a couple months.
Especially in Savannah, Georgia.
Exactly. See, that's the key right there. On the plantation.
I've been to strip clubs in Savannah, Georgia. There ain't nothing there.
Wait, you've been to strip clubs in Savannah, Georgia? So, okay, let's.
Strip club aficionado. Ryan.
Let's go. What type of strip club was this? Was it a mixed strip club or was it all white girls?
Both of them were mixed.
Mm.
And it was a bad strip club? Because I've been to Atlanta strip
No,
clubs.
one was good. One was not good.
You said what? Say that again. I'm sorry.
One was good. One was not good.
Well, tell us about the one that wasn't good first.
Well, that's where I'm thinking you're bringing $100,000 in boner pills. And that place, I mean, you basically go down a dirt road for a while and then you turn into it. All gravel roads. So you just feel nice and safe in this developed area. And then just totally dirty, disgusting, like just the classic, like strip club that's not high end.
Was it a strip club or was it a brothel?
No, it was a strip club.
Okay, sounds.
It was
brothel.
a level above brothel.
Yeah, that's so far out of
what
the
was
way
it,
that I
Arnie's?
think that might be a brothel.
What was it, Arnie's?
Arnie's was.
It's above Arnie's.
It's above Arnie's. All right.
So it's like go past the fork in the road and then take a jog around the U tree.
Think of Arnie's with some southern
Yeah,
hospitality, and that's what you get there.
I remember being at a party down in Carbondale. I don't know, we weren't in Carbondale anymore. And I remember we drove someplace and we ended up on some dirt road. And it was like a big, I mean, it might have been a club or a house. And like on one floor, because it was like a black party. One floor was like the black people, the dancing and whatever, having a party. And then you went up these steps and it was like a whole different world where it's like some like low budget white strip club. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? And the lights were low as fuck and it felt unsafe.
Wait, like an actual strip club or just like
I don't know, man.
a party?
Well, he didn't stick around long enough to figure it out.
I seen one girl in there. It's like some white lingeries. And it just seemed like not the spot for a young brother.
Lingeries. Do lingeries wear dungarees? Like
yeah, they just said
I imagine like a smoky room with like purple lighting.
It was smoky.
It's like the smoke caressing your face, trying to bring you.
In both of these stories, actually, I imagine the interior of that country and western bar that the Blues Brothers play in for where this strip club is taking place. There's literally a cage.
And while I'm giving stripper stories, I have a few. I'll give you this last one.
Usually it's D that would do this. This is
fun. One day, this may have been the last time. This was the last time I was in a Chicago strip club. It had to be, this had to be maybe 17 years ago, if not something like that, right? And I don't know if it was Cowboys or Club O. Can't remember which one it was. It was me and my buddy who was up in there. And I remember they had like dollar night to where girls would dance to one song for $1. And it was just bony ass white girl, right? It was like, is this shit a joke? Because she came to us like, oh, because we were some of the only brothers that was there, right? She came to us and she started dancing. And it's like, I feel like we were laughing, everybody else was laughing. And I just gave her some money to go away. Because it's like, don't nobody want you. I mean, when I say bony, I mean, this girl may have been 5'4" and weighed about 90 pounds, if that, right? Like no business. No, I shouldn't body shame. There are strip clubs for girls like that out there. No business in this strip club, to say the least, right? But this is where it gets really crazy. So we're sitting there kicking it with this dude, right? This white cat. I don't know if he's Italian, seems like it. Just, one of those guys that's just full of life and just like, yeah, some want to bond and shit. It's a bad sister up in there, right? I mean, bad, right? And we wanted to dance from her, right? She was like, it was a mix, but I think it may have been more white girls and sisters. I can't remember. Come to find out, I don't know if she was his ex-wife or was his wife. This dude rolls his sleeve up, and on his sleeve, he has 3 to 4 women who are all strippers. He's like, yeah, she's my wife. See her names right here, right? These were my ex-wives, and they were all strippers. See, at this point, we knew we didn't want no dance from her because Crazy Man was sitting over here with the chick's name tattooed on his arm.
I guess that's why he was sitting by you.
He owned the place, didn't he?
You know what, Jason? And that's a good one. Perhaps he did. Listen, if he didn't own the place, he knew the owner, to say the least.
I was like, you got 3 strippers' names tattooed on your body. Married to more than one of them.
But the thing is this: he didn't remove them. He just put an X through them or a line through them, right? You would think you'd be like, you won't get her name off of you. He was like, nah. I got to know my history just in case I lose
memories.
Give me receipts.
Just to backtrack as well, how far do you think? What was it? $87,000 worth?
No. It was.
How far do you think that goes?
97,000.
Okay.
Listen, it's very. I'm being honest with you because one thing too, we are talking about. In this article, Food and Drug Administration doesn't generally allow people to bring prescription drugs that are purchased outside the U.S. Back into the country. Prescription medication manufactured in non-regulated foreign companies often contain dangerous contaminants or ineffective compounds, and though their packaging and labeling can be similar to genuine products, inconsistent ingredients and subpar quality control can endanger the consumer. That was like the real. Last time I said, like, Shuddy, listen, to be honest, I'm not even joking. And it just now dawns on, he's going to sell these at a gas station. Like, dude, like he's coming from India. I'm not saying he's Indian, all right, because I don't know if I saw his name in here. Well, I'll go through it real quick. I don't think I saw his name. I think dude has some buddies that may own a couple gas stations, to say the least.
Yes, fly to India, fly to China, grab the cheap pills.
There's the cheap pills.
Like, how far does $97,000 go? I'm sorry, an inordinate amount. Even for retail.
True. Facts.
I thought when you were saying we need to backtrack, Ken, what the hell were you thinking? Giving a stripper more money to go away?
Also,
that logic was flawed.
Listen. You would have done that. This one was get going, like it, because one, it was like, why'd you just pop up over here like we thirsty brothers, right? Like, oh, they go, like it's just like nobody wanted you in here, but the brothers are the ones that want you, right? No, we don't want you over here. Please.
So what you're saying is it's stank of desperation.
Yeah,
I really hope that's her mindset. Nobody wants me,
desperation and privilege, because it was like they'll take me, and it was like no, we won't take you. You know, like you keep seeing like you keep seeing like the memes or whatever, where like and I hate to say it, they had that the little white girl, and she's like like the top of the picture is like white boy, she's like no, and it's black boy, and it was black, and then it popped up and said black boy, she's like yeah, that's what we're in, and then it went through like a black boy was like, well, since he popped up on the screen, since you don't love your race, we don't want you here. We delegate you to the Asian community. And the Asian, like, have y'all seen that? It came out like a month ago, and they've had other ones, but it was like that to the point where it was basically like, well, since the white guys don't want you here, we're gonna give you to the brothers. It's like, no, we don't want you. We don't want you either. Like, go, let's get down to me. Listen, little one, you need to go and eat a sandwich. I'm wrong. I shouldn't body shame. I'm joking. That's not right. I apologize.
And just like the
she started
woman,
it. She started it. It'll be different if she started it. All right. She kicked it off with we reeked of desperation.
Nobody made you a stripper. Why'd you do this?
You're not 6 off Topanga.
Sydney, if she was Topanga. If she was 6, but if she was Topanga. Listen, I don't care if Boyo right here was husband or not. We was getting to dance that night. And we discussed.
Hey, Topanga right here on my arm.
We discussed.
Too bad, bro.
Maybe we should go off to the corner, right? You think we go out to the corner, right? Is he gonna follow us, right? You think he gonna follow us, right? Oh man, maybe we should just go. But that was the last time I had in Chicago been to a strip club. I haven't been to a strip club many years. And then again, once you go to a strip club down south, I think it's hard to go to strip clubs up north to a certain degree, because down south they're performers, they're not strippers. I'm not even joking. I'm serious. Like, these girls are just naked, but they are Juilliard trained.
I've heard you got to go in, as strange as it sounds, obviously Atlanta. We talked about that a lot, but also Portland. But those are the 2 strip club cities. Yeah. But for different reasons, because like, apparently people just like start their nights. Like, it's very like accepted to like show up at a strip club is like
Houston too.
It's a regular bar.
Yeah. Houston too. Yeah, but a lot of people said that. When I say a lot of like New York rappers talking about it, that, you know, initially when they got to Atlanta, they viewed strip clubs as where suckers went. They didn't know the culture was, like you just said, Jason, that's just a bar to them. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, talking about going back into New York and how it started to permeate to where it wasn't looked at and viewed as being necessarily sucker. I think went back, because I was a person like Sydney. I was like, they used to tell my guys, like, man, why are we going to the strip club? We ain't got to do nothing with them. We just want to give them my money. That don't make sense to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, then we went to the Skybox. My same friend that was with me that I was just talking about this last one. It's like 4 or 5 of us, right? I don't even know if we got thrown out or not. I can't remember. I think something made it happen that night. But as soon as we walk in, some girl comes and grabs my buddy by his shirt and pulls him into the champagne room, right? And I remember looking at my other boy and be like, I hope he know he got to pay for that. Because mind you, we're like newbies to this, but it was like, I hope because then he came out and was like, just shorty danced or whatever, then stopped. I think he was about to leave, and she was like, no, that's like $40 or whatever, right? It's like, I hope you know, you got to pay for that one or whatever. So the first time that I popped my strip club cherry was at the Skybox out in the burbs. Which was it was cool. It was expensive. It was cool. But when I went to the strip club in Atlanta, and I went to 3 to 4 of them, this one trip I took to Atlanta. I'm not joking. When I'm honestly being honest, this girl did this Michael Jackson interpretation, and the only thing was she was naked. It was more than just like, you know, because in some ways Michael Jackson, you could say, may just have like 3 prominent dance moves. No. She did a performance. She was just naked. But you could tell like she was a trained dancer. You know what I'm saying? But she can make a lot of money stripping. You know what I'm saying? So she was stripping. But like, this may have been a Blue Flame I feel like that we were in or whatever. It was bad. Something.
There's a newspaper out there, isn't there, with some pseudonym from Ken that he gives little reviews on strip clubs.
you know
I'm
what?
glad you picked up on that too, because we've heard I'm trying to remember the name of this place a couple
Go
of
to the
times
Blue
before.
Smoke if you want to just be mesmerized by the game.
Yes, 50 hearts or 50
You
roses.
heard it here from Davis Kenneth.
That would be good. If I could get away with that, someone would pay me to do that. I would definitely do it. But you know what? I'm not a person that frequents strip clubs enough to be a strip club aficionado. I'm just
Ken Davis doesn't.
But Baron Davis does. But nah. I mean, I'm just okay.
Ken
Brian,
Davis.
Brian, how many
Man.
times have you been to the strip club? How many times have you been to the strip club?
A lot.
Damn. See, I can't say that.
Probably around 10 at least.
I haven't been to the strip club 10 times. I've probably been, if I would cap it at 10, but I would say probably it's a little less than 10 times.
I mean, are we counting bachelor party?
Yeah, we count. Yes, we
Everything.
These don't count, right?
Well, I think there's a difference between going to a strip club and a bachelor party versus hey, it's Saturday night, let's go to a strip club.
Well, all right.
A big difference.
I'm gonna tell you a big difference. One of my buddies, when we were in Atlanta, we went to the strip club in the daytime. Mind you, I've never been to the strip club in the daytime before, right?
This is one thing I need to do.
Right. And I remember this one dancer, she really wasn't dancing. You could tell you could tell she can make a lot of money. It was just the shift. She was like, this is not the money shift or whatever. But and this was the strip club where the Get Low video by Little John was shot in, right? It has a barbershop in it. To Ryan talking about also when you can get your haircut, you get your haircut there. But a couple of things that stood out to me at the strip. So one, we found out that my buddy frequents the strip club, and it seems like often in the daytime, right? Which is like, damn, right? Like, bro, you down here living like that or whatever? But I remember that this one girl, and I may have told the story before, she grabbed my shirt. I have told the shirt. She grabbed my shirt with her ass cheeks, right?
I have told that story before.
She pulled it.
I remember that distinctly.
And she could tell I know this is going to listen. I'm going to get your jokes ready. Get your jokes ready. And you could tell she had makeup on her ass cheeks because the makeup was on my shirt now. And I hope it was makeup.
As opposed to what?
But no, it was makeup. My shirt didn't smell. My shirt didn't smell like poop. But I was at the bar though. And this would, unfortunately, I'm gonna say this. I should not be this honest. I was at the bar, and I remember the stripper is fondling me. Right? I'm like, this is Wild Honey, son. They do this shit, mind you. I've never experienced this day of my life, right? And she said something to me, something. Don't worry about it. Something like when he's going. I don't know if she's talking about my friend or the DJ, because the DJ a few times basically is like, hey, y'all stop that. Now, he's not just talking to, I don't think to my stripper, he's talking to multiple strippers throughout the club. But at this point, I said,
hey, y'all, hey, stop doing that.
Maybe I do understand this strip club culture at this point. And at that point, I knew I would never. Go ahead.
I can't get over the barbershop. I know it's not true, but I can't not picture somebody getting a lap dance while getting lined up at once. I know that those two things don't work together, but I can't not think that.
I mean, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could have a stripper coming there while you're getting cut. But I think it's more looked at while I'm here, I can get this done also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Check out the library on the other side, just through that door.
I'm not a person that eats food at a strip club, right? But some cats, that's like to me, it just seems like it's a lot of shit going on here. I don't trust the wings up in this spot. That's just me personally, right? I don't trust the wings up in this spot. So, but some people would swear, look at Lemon Pepper Lou. Some people swear by some strip club wings. You know what I'm saying? So
how quickly we forget Lemon Pepper Lou.
Lemon Pepper Lou, but I've never just want to have sticky hands while it's naked women. Like, I know what you're missing out on. That lemon pepper all on that girl's ass. I'm not in the strip. I'd say I'm not in the strip club fondling ladies. I've been fondled in the strip club. I've never fondled someone in the strip. I think if a stripper put my hand on her, but I've never. I always give somebody their agency I'm really big on that. Like where I don't feel like just because you're a stripper you should be treated any other way. I'm not the type of dude either that disrespectfully throws the money, like throws it in your face. You nasty. Like, I was like, why are you here if you have that much angst towards these ladies?
True story. Why are you there?
Real quick, Jason, have you been to a strip club before?
One time.
All right. Was it for a bachelor party?
No.
See, like a man. Jason goes to a strip club like a man.
No,
he doesn't have excuses.
I was literally
I do too.
26, 27, and it had come up that it was my birthday party, and I'd never been to a strip club before. And so the people I was with were like, well, it's kind of over now, but the strip club's still open. And I was just trying, I was like, I guess so. I could have done this 8 years ago. I'll do it today. And yeah, I went, and it's totally the most me thing ever. I got the lap dance, and it turned out that the girl had a PhD in political, or a MA in political science. And I was like, I can make more money stripping. And I was like, interesting. I was like, cool.
Who doesn't love the strip clubs? It's an adventure every time you go.
He's the guy now, especially since he lives out of state. He's the guy that I imagine showing up for the buffet at Thanksgiving.
Oh, see, I don't know who on your screen, Jason's below me. On my screen is Sydney Brown.
Oh no! It looked like you were pointing to Ryan.
Sydney doesn't believe in going to the strip club because he's gonna leave with one of them chicks. You come home with me. What? You heard
Ryan?
Me.
What are your thoughts? Ryan, what are your thoughts on the buffet at the strip club?
I got to do it sometime.
Whoa! And fuck the Rona. Just before the Rona, I wouldn't eat it. But after the Rona, you still gonna eat the. Okay, brother, you do you.
Actually, this whole time we've been talking about strip clubs and going out culture, I've been thinking about this. And this is, since you mentioned coronavirus, this is the perfect time to bring it up. Do we think that actually, since people are still gonna want to do that will be more prevalent in other cities because a lot of other bars will have not stayed open, will have closed. A lot of venues will have closed, but the strip club will have been sustained. Do you think it's going to be a bigger part of society?
God willing, Jason.
You know what? I think it depends on this. That's an interesting question. I think it depends on the state, but also the proximity. I mean, like, are you shutting down the champagne room? Are there any private dances? Because that alone can lead to someone catching the virus from. I mean, you get one stripper in there with the virus. I mean, one in the locker room, she can spread to all the other girls, but she can, light that whole place up. But I know, and I would say that one day we should go. I know that was one of the things when D was still a part of the show. We talked about when he wanted to get Sydney and Tony to go. Sydney, are you still willing? You're not willing to go to a strip club?
Yeah. But if you take Tony, I'll go just to film Tony.
Tony,
love you, Tony. I know you're listening, but if you
take
take Tony, I'll go just to get some film.
Since it takes so long for us to all do a thing.
You can't film in there, bro.
We should.
I'll film Tony getting his first dance.
Sydney Brown production.
Two birds with one stone. This is my thought. Since it's so hard for us to all of a schedule. Sox game followed by the strip club with Tony. Sox game to strip club.
We need to do that, but we got to find I don't know who. See, one, I feel like driving out to fucking Fort Heights or someplace crazy, but we got to find a good one where they really dance. You know what I'm saying? Dance. We got to find a good one where they get to. But we should have a mail trip also for everybody on the text thread. Anybody plans on going to Tulum with D? Y'all plan on taking that trip? Yeah, Tulum, taking the trip to Tulum next year,
2025.
Yeah, I think he's gonna postpone this again.
Shit, D going to Tulum. You better watch. He's gonna be working out now. He'd be working out. I'm gonna be up at the dam in the room chilling out.
Cigar in his hand on the beach.
Please, you crazy? You think I'm gonna go down there to work in some third world gym? You're crazy as hell. Like I'm good. But yeah, anyway. We always appreciate it. Always make sure you check out Sydney on Second City Sports and also his writings from We Are Rico Radio. We will continue to.
And apparently on the black market with stripper videos.
Exactly. Sydney Brown Productions. Smutty as
Courtesy the Home Shopping Boy Network.
You got
a $1.
You want another $1?
We always appreciate it. Listen, don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again. Sydney?
We go.